Sevacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. You are all supposed to be just like desire trees, so please come and take the fear and anxiety of public speaking from my heart, and please give me the blessings to say what is pleasing, and let us all learn from this particular shloka today. We're in the 10th canto. Prabhu, could you, I did not put up it's 10:154.
10:154.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on now. Let me put you here. Hare Krishna. Am I in? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Now we're better. All right. I was wondering why I felt so distant. Okay, Prabhu, could you go ahead and oh, actually, hold on. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is 10:154. Shri Vasudev Uvacha. Nahi Ashyaste Bayam Somya Yadvai Sahara Sariravak Putran Samapayishyeshya Yataste Bayam Utitam. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. Vasudev said, O best of the sober, you have nothing to fear from your sister Devaki, because what you have heard from the unseen omen, the cause of your death will be her sons. Therefore, I promise that when she gives birth to the sons from whom your fear has arisen, there we go. I shall deliver them all unto your hands. Purport. Kamsa feared Devaki's existence because after her 8th pregnancy, she would give birth to a son who would kill him. Vasudev, therefore, to assure his brother-in-law the utmost safety, promised to bring him all the sons. He would not wait for the 8th son, but from the very beginning would deliver to the hands of Kamsa all the sons to which Devaki would give birth. This was the most liberal proposition offered by Vasudev to Kamsa. Invocation. Om. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who is established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? I offer my respectful obeisances under the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all the Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunath Das and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, Sri Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, with Advaita Acharya, Sri Gadadha, Sri Bas, and all the other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances under Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates, Sri Lalita and Vishaka. Oh, my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I pray that I may have the Vaishnav's blessings in this class, and that I may speak what's pleasing, and for Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Maharaj, Sri Chaitanya, Sri Nityananda, and Radha and Krishna. So Haribo, everyone. We are in a very high adventure here, a high drama. At this moment, Kamsa has his sister by the hair with his sword still drawn. Vasudev is going through a litany of approaches to calming Kamsa down so that he doesn't do this horrendous, rash act based and inspired by fear. So this class is going to be about fear. When Ananda Bihari first approached me, it was back a few weeks ago, to do a class, and then he tells me it's Advaita Acharya's appearance day, and I got really nervous about that. I'm not erudite, and I said, Advaita Acharya, you should have a speaker who knows these things. And I was hoping he'd find somebody else and he would go away and leave me alone. And he did, and it was a wonderful class. And then he said, and he contacted me and said, the next week or 2 weeks later, there was another class. And I said, okay, I'll take it. And then I found out it was Nityananda's appearance day. And I was like, holy smokes. I was like, what I know of Nityananda is that without him, I would have no hope. And to prove that point, I was elected to become Madhai, not Jagai, okay? Of two evils, I was the worst. I was elected to be Madhai in a big play in Boston, where I busted Amarendra Prabhu, who was playing Nityananda, who was doing a wonderful job, just totally enthusiastically, 100 and some odd devotees in the temple room. They were all chanting and dancing, and he was getting everybody. And then Jagai and Made come in, and we're all dressed up, and I had I busted Nityananda up the side of the head with the bottle. It was a candy bottle, but it's like a movie bottle. And anyways, I said, I can't give a class. That's basically what I can talk about. I can repeat things that I've read, but it's always good to have someone who has realizations to speak about an exalted personality, or the exalted personality of Nityananda Prabhu. Then I was hoping he wouldn't ask me again, but he asked me again, and this is the class. And this one is mostly centered on Kamsa. And I said, well, here is one great fool giving a class about another great fool. This I can do. This I can relate to. So I just want to begin this class by saying that if anybody should have a question, please, Ananda Bihari, please feel free to interrupt so that I can be a little bit more spontaneous, less nervous. I'm not naturally a preacher, so the linear logic, I jump around a lot. So if you want to, if there is any questions, including from yourself, it would be very helpful to inspire me on. So it is very important to note in this juncture that Kamsa is the personification of fear. That in rising to his status as a tyrant and having such a horrific reign over the people, to whom he terrorized, and to whom his association was like demons. He was Kalamani in his last life. He has a natural envy, supernatural envy of Krishna. And he rises to power, and he thinks he is in control over everything. And the idea that someone is going to threaten him, he will pull out no stops to thwart that. And so we have this juncture in this great adventure, this great Leela of Krishna's appearance. So this class is about fear and overcoming it. I just wanted to ask right now at this juncture that we have, former speakers have talked about various reasons why, rationales, that why did Vasudev present these arguments to him? Let's go back to even here, Vasudev, who was actually truly Somya. It was Vasudev who was very sober and smiling because he knew what was going to happen in the end. Actually called Kamsa, O most sober, Samya, oh best of the sober. Prabhupada defines Somya several different ways, but it's basically gentle. So by calling Kamsa gentle, he or sober, he was at the point when Kamsa was mad, he was deluded and very fearful. By calling him so sober or gentle or calm, he would remind, he would praise Kamsa to bring out this quality in himself. When you talk to someone, and if there is somebody presents their side of an argument when you are preaching, you always listen to what they say, and you tell them if they have a decent, somewhat of an argument, why they may or may not believe in Krishna, or some aspect of the philosophy disturbs them. You find that which is an intelligent question, and you bring that out and you praise them, you win them over. So Vasudeva is trying to win his brother over by bringing him down, saying, don't worry, I will make sure that you can rid yourself of this fear. Now one wonders, why would Vasudev make such a terrible vow? Of all the things in this world a person can go through, death is not the worst. Death is not the worst thing that we can go through in this world. Death of our children is right up there. Dishonor, being a coward, being the propagator of some horrific activity, these things are worse than death. So Vasudev and Devaki did not become the parents of Krishna because they didn't know what was happening. Vasudev, deep down inside, knew for a fact that he was part of Krishna's Leela. Remember, we now are studying Krishna's Leela. We see what Krishna is up to. We know the overarching adventure, the climax, which is right about here, and the denouement, and then the conclusion. In regards to the adventure of Kamsa and Krishna coming to Mathura and taking care of business, we know what's going on, and Vasudev is well aware that there's a story unfolding, and that he plays a role. He plays a role not too unlike Arjuna, and that is, Krishna is here by his side. Krishna is going to take birth, and Vasudev himself is going to transfer him to Vrindavan so Krishna can fulfill the other purpose of his appearance, which is, of course, to love and give pleasure to his devotees. And then he comes to Mathura and takes care of the miscreants. So Vasudev is well aware of what's going on, and he's doing what is needful. Now, we also have to understand, those of us who have been to college and studied sociology or anthropology, symbology, understand the idea of allegory, etc., etc. And Prabhupada was very vehement. He said that this is not an allegory. Krishna's Leela is not symbolism, or he called it mythology. Okay, because it isn't. because, in writing, you don't tell, okay? You don't tell the reader things. You show them things. You show them by either your own personal experience or by the experience of somebody else who has an exciting story, which at the same time teaches us a lesson or reveals to us something within ourselves that we need to learn or become enlightened to. So Krishna, in performing his pastimes, operates on many different layers. And just two of these layers, from without, we see Krishna's wonderful, beautiful pastimes in Vrindavan, playing with the cowherd boys, being the beautiful son of Nanda and Yashoda, all these pastimes. And each of these pastimes have meaning to the next layer, which is within us. It is said as a pure devotee always has Vrindavan in him. Now, is this symbolic? No. Vrindavan is within the heart. Krishna says, by the torch of knowledge, I will reveal myself from within you. So similarly, Mathura, Vrindavan, this pastime is important to the story that is within us. That the children, the 7 previous children of Vasudev and Devaki they have a backstory, a large backstory. And they're anxious, a lot of them. Just for an example, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were former bodyguards, not bodyguards, bouncers at the gates of Vaikuntha. You're not on the list. And the 4 Kumars come around, and anyways, long story short, Krishna says, hey, I got to do something about this curse. So you can either go 3 times, you can be this many times out of Vaikuntha, which was substantial, or you can just take 3 births. Is it 3 or 4? As demons and do battle with me. Now, it's one thing we have to also understand in this pastime, which doesn't make sense. How could Vasudev, pure devotee, offer up his children, to be smashed? He probably knew that the Kamsa was going to take him up on it. Actually, Kamsa released him, and then he took him up on it because of Narada wanting to facilitate the story getting along. Narada always making trouble, but he gets these things going. He's like Yoga Maya. He sets the scene, and then Krishna can perform his pastimes. And one of those pastimes is Krishna loves to fight. He either does it in joy and love and good-hearted competition with the Sakyas, but then after a while you kind of tire, sort of like sparring. When you spar in the gym, you go 50%. You actually say to the guy, let's go 50%. Boom, boom, boom. But it always, sometimes some guy catches you or something like that. And so you up it and he ups it. And then pretty soon you're going full out. But there's nothing like full out. There's nothing like it. And to come out of a fight as a winner in a fair fight, and Krishna makes it fair. He makes it fair. Trust me, Yoga Maya makes it fair for Krishna's pleasure. Is a great pleasure. If anybody has ever accidentally seen MMA fight or something like that, after a fight is done, these guys hug each other. They're bleeding. They were pounding each other. They hug each other. This is sharing blood on the battlefield. That's why you go to Vaikuntha when you die on the battlefield. So Krishna has these pastimes, but he's not just going to select anybody randomly, like, oh, now I got to fight Krishna, but I was a good guy, I was chanting my 16 rounds and following the 4 regs, and Krishna wants to pound. No, Krishna doesn't do that, unless you're like me. But what he does is he selects great devotees, and says, let's do battle. I want to come to to this world and do great battle. Now, Kamsa was of a different class. He was actually envious of Krishna. He actually thought he was in control, sort of like Ravana, or just like Ravana. And the one thing, the overriding characteristic of Kamsa was that he feared. So Vasudev made that promise knowing full well the arch of this adventure. Let me see. Let me hold on here. I wrote down here. So one wonders how many pharmaceuticals, how many anti-anxiety medications, or serotonin reuptake inhibitors that Kamsa probably would be on in this, because he was so fearful of Krishna. He knew what was coming around the bend. So we have to understand Krishna coming to Mathura not only as a pastime, as a beautiful pastime. The columns were festooned. The residents of the Yadu dynasty was there in Mathura, had all taken birth to see Krishna. All the demigods whose time it was to meet Krishna face to face. Krishna has pastimes coming into Mathura with his entourage, and with Balaram strutting like two elephants or young lions getting ready for battle, dressed to kill. And remember when he went to the washerman who said, "Oh, it's mandated that these clothes are for Kamsa and not for you. You will pay a big price." And Krishna was like, just like that. But then there was someone who saw Krishna and saw how beautiful he was and saw how wonderful he was and said, "Let me dress you. Let me make clothes out of these wonderful clothes there." So Krishna comes and takes Kamsa's clothes. And then Kamsa's sense that he would get from Kubja. Kubja sees Krishna. And she's like, "Ooh la la." I think about this. Kubja get her head cut. Think of this sacrifice. Kubja would get her head cut off by Kamsa. She knew that Kamsa was going to know, but she was like, "Look at this. Look at that. Look at those guys. Look at that one guy, Krishna." And she just immediately said, "These sense oils are meant for you." And Krishna, seeing the beauty within her, grabbed her by the chin and raised her and outwardly showed the beauty that was within her. This is a great sacrifice. She knew this is on the level of the gopis to a certain respect, that she knew that she would have to give up everything if Kamsa found out. But she just immediately fell in love with Krishna and wanted to enjoy with Krishna. So, you can either be a lion cub when the lions walk into town, and when the lion comes towards you with his teeth or her teeth and will pick you up gently and set you to safety, or you can be a hyena like the washerman, or like Kamsa, and you can yay 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 yay. You can bark and snarl and stuff, but that lion's just gonna swat you. And Vasudev was perfectly aware of all that Krishna was going to come like a young, beautiful lion and swat Kamsa. Krishna was going, there's a picture. And Krishna, that artist did a good job, because he showed Krishna turned, you know it. And this is how things go full circle. Kamsa was standing with Devaki's hair like this. And in the end, where was Kamsa? Krishna, him by the hair. Actually, hold on for a second. Hold on. As soon as hold on. Come on. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the shelter of the complete creation. This is very important to know, that whenever we should fear, whether it be COVID or our government, or what the hell our government is getting us into, or what the scientists are doing overseas in Wuhan, and all these fears that we have, let alone the fear of losing money, losing our job, our children, if we have children, oh my God, what are they doing next? What are they being influenced by? They're going outside. I better, etc. They're going outside. We're breathing. Oh my God, somebody's breathing towards me. Fear has never been, actually, it has been higher. But here we go. Here we go. But we have to understand Krishna is in control. This is very important. The Supreme Personality of God, who is the shelter of complete creation. If he creates everything, then he's got everything under control. And from whose lotus navel the whole creation is manifested. Ready? Immediately knocked the crown from the head of Kamsa, grabbed his long hair. I told you I was like Kamsa. I got the hair. Christians can grab it. Actually, I have a shaved head. This is a big Sika. That's what I say. Anyways, he grabbed Kamsa by the hair and twisted his little beautiful body. He's a little guy. He's like 16 or something like that. And they show him younger than that. Never get a bead on exactly how old Krishna is, but he's old enough to know better. So Krishna grabs Kamsa, and not just once. He could have just been merciful, going just dot like that, and then Kamsa's out and it's over. But no, that little beautiful lightning fist, that fist that has lightning in it, okay? 1, 2, over, Prabhupada says, over and over. Dragged Kamsa from his seat to the wrestling dais, threw him down. He ragdolled him. When we could say ragdoll, my horses ragdoll me. That means, you ever see a child have a ragdoll? You know, it just flops around in her hands and stuff like that. One time I was holding on to my horse and the vet was trying to give her a shot to the neck. And I'm holding the horse and she's like, I'm not having any of it. And while I'm holding her halter, she dragged me out of the barn. I'm hanging on. My feet are in the air. If I put my feet down, she'd go over me. And she just ragdolled me out into the field. And the vet is there sitting with the needle and he's laughing away. So similarly, Krishna ragdolled Kamsa out onto the wrestling dais, straddled his chest, and began, as Prabhupada says in Krishna book, to strike him over and over again. And simply from the strokes of Krishna's fist, Kamsa lost his vital force. So we have to understand that everything comes full circle, that we have no need to fear, that we can place that fear of tyrants, whether it be the tyrants in our life, like lust, anger, greed, delusion, madness, these things. Krishna takes care of them. Somehow he gets them out of the way, and then he comes. Then Yoga Maya comes. Balaram, Yoga Maya comes and sets the scene. And here comes Krishna strutting in with his new clothes. He's all anointed in oil. He's got a garland from the garland maker. You know? So that's what we're here to do. We're here to welcome Krishna. He's our guest. And it comes full circle. And Krishna will take that fear right from us. And Balaram will sit there while Krishna is striking Kamsa over and over again, the fears that we have in this world. And Balaram, our spiritual master, will sit there with the tusk of Kalyapita. Can't remember Kalyapita, the elephant. And he's looking around. They show in the painting, Balaram's just like looking around, like, you know, come at me. Anybody? You know? So, so let me see if I can read here. So in summary, we have to remember, here's a quote from Bhagavad Gita. I will just do the English here. Prabhupada, first a quote from Prabhupada from a letter to Bali Mardan, and then I'll end it. I will take it for granted that you are one of the selected devotees of Lord Chaitanya. This is a wonderful thing that Prabhupada said to Bali Mardan. And therefore, from within your heart, he has inspired you to go to such a distant place, leaving your parents and home. That's heavy duty back in the day, just to satisfy Krishna. Then Prabhupada said, this is a great transcendental adventure. Try your best, and I am sure you will be successful. Adi Purush is always saying that. He goes from one thing, he loses his kitchen, and I'm talking to him, he's like, oh, I don't hear anxiety. I just hear somebody who's talking about an adventure. Boy, this is a great adventure, Bhima. This is such an adventure. I don't know what's going on from one day to the next, but it's such an adventure. So Krishna also says, I am the gambling of cheats, of the splendid. I am that splendor. I am victory. I am adventure. Vyava saya, adventure. Asmi, I am the adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. So we need to depend on Krishna for that. And in that, Krishna will take down the tyrants in our life, the things that try to control us. Lust that mandates us to pay attention to our senses and our flickering mind rather than our intelligence and what we have learned from our Guru Maharaj. Anger, which is the result of unsatisfied lust. Greed sneaks up on you. You know, you can find yourself working extra hard and doing less and less sadhana and spending less and less time thinking of Krishna because that's what they've asked of you from work. And if you don't do it, you might, lose your job or might not get that raise that you think you need. Never let go of your connection to Krishna and the vows that you have made to spend time with Krishna, most notably in the morning, spending that intimate time with Krishna for the sake of your job. Krishna will take care of your job. Krishna will take care of what you need to do. Krishna took care of Kubja. Krishna took care of the tailor. Krishna took care of Vasudev and Devaki. Krishna takes care of everyone, no matter what you go through. Of this, there can be no doubt. So while we sit in the stands, that great arena of our life, and Krishna and Balaram enter that arena, they can enter as our dear friends. They can enter as our wonderful son. They can now enter as the young girl saw a beautiful lover. Or as Kamsa saw, Krishna can enter as death personified. So when it comes down, Krishna comes down on tyrants. Depend on Krishna for your to clean your heart. Go to Krishna. We can't get rid of these things if they're dug in. Samskaras. Ask Krishna to reveal to you the things that you need to know and to clean away, sweep away the things that make us doubt, so that we have no reason to fear. We are at war within ourselves and without. So we do have to fear one thing, that in this war that surrounds us, and that will soon be really surrounding us, the only thing that we have to fear is that we lose our chance that Krishna gives us to go to war side by side with Krishna. So that's all I have to say. Is there any questions? Can anybody help enliven this discussion? Hare Krishna. Any questions at all, or corrections?
Hare Krishna, Bhima Prabhu.
Haribol, Jamuna Jaya, Haribol. The sun has arisen.
First of all, I want to go back to what you said about that you're not a preacher. I wrote in the chat box, you are a preacher. That was my volume down. You are a preacher by your actions. You preach in the best way by your actions, by who you are. So I wanted to put that out there. And then Krishna seems to have fooled you again, because unless I'm mistaken, today is also a day of a Vaishnava. I believe it's Bhaktisiddhanta's appearance day. So you were trapped again into getting what you're.
Oh, Lord have mercy. The lion, the Shringa Guru. So I talked about Krishna coming in like a lion. So sometimes Krishna expands himself into devotees. And so the lion aspect of Krishna came through in Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. He, as a debater and as a person who put forth the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya and the purport to the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, that Lord Chaitanya truly is God, and Krishna and Radharani, and the saving grace of our own Param Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and giving Prabhupada the seed mission, the Bija mission. Thank you very much for reminding me of that. I forgot to do it. I was going to put in the chat, there's a YouTube short. Radhanath Maharaj has short nectar droplets. It's only about 5 minutes long, where he talks about Bhakti Siddhanta, and I'll do it right before class ends. You'll notice the camera going everywhere. All I have to do is actually, I can do it right now. If you want to have a nice, beautiful overview of Bhakti Siddhanta, let me see if I can do it. Oh, somebody just did it. Just do it. Was that you, Andrea? Did you just put it in?
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah. Great. I get by with a little help from my friends. Thank you. It's always so lovely to see you on that couch in that same position with that smile. I wish I had seen you during the class. When you see the devotees during the class and they're laughing or smiling, or they got a question mark on their face, or they're grimacing, you know where you're going. You know whether you're heading in the right direction. So I couldn't see anybody. I don't know how to operate this thing. I see a hand up. Who is this?
That's me.
Oh,
I have my hand up.
Do you have a question, or are you just telling me you got
I wanted to reflect back. First off, I was smiling the whole time for you. So even if you couldn't see it, it was there. And I wanted to give my appreciation to you, Bhima Prabhu, because I really liked how you said the Mangala Charana in English, so that we could all kind of take it in that different way. Because as much as I love Sanskrit, and I'm sure a lot of us do love the sound of it, and it is a spiritual language, for those of us that English is really our primary language, the prayers sink in a different way when we hear them in English. So thank you for doing that. And what I wanted to reflect back is what I really heard you say is that there's no need to fear if we remember that Krishna is in control, and that the whole idea of thinking of life as an adventure with Krishna, and that our only fear should be forgetting Krishna. And those were the little kind of gems of your talk that I received. So I really wanted to thank you for that. And as always, as Jamuna Jaya said, like, it's really the way that you treat everyone is really how you preach. Like you always come across, at least for me, very supportive, very loving, and you really do preach that idea of like connecting with others and kind of very heartfelt. Though with like this like bear kind of energy as well, like like the claws are there, but you're ready to give the bear hugs too.
Yes, hugs to all. That's all I have to offer. Yeah, like I'm not a great horseback rider, but I love to hold my horses. We must understand that this is a very sensual movement. We always say no sense gratification, but actually this movement is chock full of sense gratification. After all, we have senses. We have a transcendental mind. We have a transcendental nose. I feel like a kindergarten student. We have a transcendental nose. We have a transcendental tongue. We have transcendental eyes. And I see you.
Transcendental beard.
Transcendental beard. Yeah. There's a story behind this beard, but that's another story. So these transcendental eyes, nose, these are all for when we read Krishna book or read these pastimes about Krishna, taking it to Kamsa, or loving the gopis, or playing with his friends, or playing tricks on Vidura coming from Vrindavan, or breaking Radharani's heart. If we allow ourselves to really immerse ourselves and understand that this is, of course, it's all true. If we just take the world or the field of knowing, or this field, this existence is a field, and wipe it clean like a canvas, a painter's canvas. And then we place what we have here now, so we can believe in this, so to speak, with our mind, our present day mind. Any atheist can say, okay, I believe in this, okay? But if from an empty field or an empty canvas, this can be painted, then what cannot be painted? What cannot be made true? Krishna makes true his pastimes not only without, but within us. And so when we read Krishna book, we not only understand that this that our senses are enlivened. When we take Krishna Prasad, our senses are enlivened. When we smell the offered garland or Tulsi Maharani, or the incense, our senses are enlivened. This is a very sensual movement. I say ki jai to sense indulgence. Just turn towards Krishna. Krishna is giving you sense indulgence full out. And the biggest thing to get to that sense indulgence is to not fear. Be joyful. Make a promise to yourself in the moment. In every morning when you chant your rounds, when you say Krishna, he's the all attractive. That means he's the most beautiful. There's nothing to get attracted to in this world because Krishna is it. He's the source, the reservoir. I'm sorry, I'm rambling on. Anybody else?
There's something in the chat, Bhima Prabhu. Jamuna Jaya says she loved the discussion on fear. Just yesterday, Dandar Swami Maharaj, her guru, said, faith and fearlessness go together. And that's a comment from Jamuna Jaya.
Yep. I'll give a brief. One thing about fear, one of the prerequisites, so the caveat of fear is very important, and that is to let go. Just let go. We often say to ourselves, how can I think of Krishna always? Well, you don't have to think of Krishna always. You think of Krishna now. And if you don't have worries about the future or regrets from the past, Krishna, when you take initiation, when you chant Krishna's name once, that past goes away. So no more regrets. You're starting fresh with Krishna. You're saying, Krishna, help me. And Krishna's like, okay, past gone. Okay. And your future. And he's like, future assured. So you don't have to worry about the future. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. This is in the Bible. That means just today. So if, just like the Alcoholics Anonymous, they have this thing, one day at a time. Actually, it's an old gospel song. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. So one day at a time, sweet Krishna. Okay. So we can think about Krishna all the time. If we say to ourselves, today I'm going to go out of my way to remember Krishna all day long. You don't have to worry about tomorrow or the next day or the next day. You don't have to worry about what you did in the past. Just take care of today. And then tomorrow will take care of itself. If you take care of this moment, I can guarantee you, as someone who's very troubled in the head, who has his own business and a lot of responsibilities, and every day I ask myself that question. Maharaj Parikshit says, what is the duty of a man about to die? Because quite frankly, when I'm handling my horses, I come very close to that a lot. So I'm reminded of that. So we have to let go. And when we let go, Krishna can come into our lives. Fear is simply just not remembering Krishna. So when we let go of this world and we let go of our fear of the future and our regret of the past and just concentrate in the moment, Krishna is there with us now. And then you become wealthy. You become let go and let God, Andrea says. Yes, it's such a simple thing. Krishna makes it very simple. Any other questions, comments, corrections?
Andrea says, let go and let God.
Yes,
that's a nice one.
Very simple. Yes.
Bhima
Very
Prabhu, do you know
simple.
what was Srila Prabhupada's answer when a disciple asked Prabhupada, what do you feel when you're chanting? Do you know Prabhupada's answer to that?
No, go ahead.
It has a lot to it's a subject of today's class. What did Prabhupada say? Does anybody know what Prabhupada's answer was? Prabhupada, what do you feel when you're chanting? Who knows?
Angelica.
Angelica, go ahead.
That I am fearless, or I feel fearless.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada said, I feel no fear. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, with Krishna, anything's possible. That's the crazy part. I mean, if we just go over Prabhupada's life, I mean, really, I'm 60 now. And I'm not getting up. I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I guess thank God I'm not like some erudite who knows who's got shlokas and, and isn't, like that. Thank God. I shouldn't say that. But I mean, I'm just wiped out. I'm exhausted. I can't imagine at 70 what Prabhupada did. It's incredible. He was totally fearless. He came over with nothing. He was directly in the hands of Krishna. Make me dance, make me dance. I'm just your puppet. That wasn't just a poem with symbolism or a metaphor. Prabhupada truly felt we are Krishna's puppets. When we understand we didn't create those little synapses that fire in our head that help us remember. We didn't create this pathwork of knowledge and remembrance. We didn't create these little gelatinous eyeballs that perceive matter perceiving itself. We didn't create this tongue that wags too much. We didn't create anything. We didn't create pleasure. We didn't create pain. Hell no. But we do create it for ourselves. It's Krishna. It's Krishna's adventure. It's Krishna's Leela. So if we just a little bit humble, as my son says, if you just, Dad, you're zooming out too much. You go far back and you say, hey, wait a minute. I had nothing to do with, as far as like me being born like this or anything like that. If you just get a little bit humble and understand that something else is going on, and then you have to ask yourself, what is going on? How, who's gelatinous eyes? What is going on and who's in control? Because we are whose. We forget to ask ourselves, the scientists, they figure out, I have a doctor, a neurologist, doctor, sister, my nephews, two of them nephews are PhDs or MDs in research and science. My brother was the CFO, Chief Financial Officer for Pfizer until he saw what they were up to and he went off on his own. I forgot my point there when I started thinking about all that stuff. But when you understand the science of what is going on, you become amazed at what is going on. This whole world in front of us, and just with that amazement, that wonder, we come to know Krishna. It looks like the deities are coming. They are. There they are. As I say, as we come to know more, as Prabhupada said, you develop science and nescience at the same time. That means you can find Krishna everywhere and in everything. And even if you were involved in science as a doctor or whatever, you look into it and you say, look at Krishna's wonderful works that we are all a part of, and we can understand that Krishna has a plan and Krishna has a story and Krishna has his Leela, and he's going to strut into our lives and he's going to take care of the Kamsas in our life, the tyrants in our life, outside us and within us. So I think that's it. That's the end of it.
Unbelievable, Bhima Prabhu. It's an unbelievable class. And the chat board is exploding with appreciations. Pat says, beautiful, inspiring class. Preeti loved the English Mangala Charana. Preeti appreciates the talk. Great talk, Hare Krishna. Yeah, everybody loves you, Bhima Prabhu. Thank you very much for inspiring us, for being who you are. We need more devotees like you in the movement. Henry says thank you.
Bear
Thank
hugs all around.
Yeah, thank you for your bear hugs. Thank you very much. Would
Hare
anyone
Krishna.
else like to reflect or say something? Akiko-chan is serving. Will says Haribol. All right. Okay.
There they go. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the Vice